Welcome to Top10List.org, where you get a world of knowledge in 10 simple points. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the top 10 female protagonists. We're going to start at number 10 with Jackie Brown, played by Pam Grier, in 1997. Jackie Brown is the definition of a streetwise, straight-talking, quick-witted warrior woman. She single-handedly outsmarts two cops, her arms dealer, a boss, and every other person unfortunate enough to get in her way. In true Tarantino style, the plot takes the viewer through twists and turns of separate lives that become somehow entangled, and Jackie, being the protagonist, falls target to the same Tarantino authorship of subtle ambiguity between good and evil, but gifted with enough charm the audience can simply don't care. Number 9 is Holy Golightly, Audrey Hepburn, Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961. The original rom-com is effortlessly played out by one of Hollywood's best-loved sweethearts, and it is fair to say that Hepburn really found her niche with this film. Breakfast at Tiffany's is a feel-good lark in which a party girl finds love. And number 8 is Ophelia, Ivana Baquero in Pan's Labyrinth in 2006. Ophelia is another character on our list who has escaped into a world of fantasy, but this time it is in avoidance of the Spanish Franco-fascism growing around her. The darkness of the time for those living in Spain is flawlessly and imaginatively reflected in Guillermo del Toro's fictitious world in which the protagonist, a young girl, is entered after mistakenly wandering into the woods. Ophelia's strength and determination against a sadistic, overbearing tyrant of a stepfather make her the hero of this beautifully shot and finished masterpiece that perfectly combines elements of both bleak, historic fact in a world of murky, macabre fantasy. Number 7 is Amelie Poulain in Audrey Tattoo, Amelie, 2001. The sweet parasite tale of a young girl finding her way in a big city takes a slightly odd turn with the character of Amelie. This girl is not necessarily the same in the world as everyone else, since her suppressed childhood turned her into an inwardly expressive, slightly wacky individual, the sole occupant of a realm of her own creation. It is always a task for any actor to play a character who dances along the boundaries of sanity, but Tattoo's idiosyncratic facial expressions and lackadaisical air makes her the one and only Amelie. Number 6 is Margo Channing, who plays Bette Davis in All About Eve in 1950. The character Margo Channing is the quintessential matriarch, the undoubted queen bee of the theater world in which she inhabits, until she realizes her way of life is coming to an end and a threat appears in the form of young actress Eve, played by Anne Baxter. The female characters in this 1950s classic leave their male counterparts trailing in their coattails, and Bette Davis's portrayal of a luxury-loving, fabulous, glamorous diva of the time fits perfectly within the backdrop of this golden age of film. Number 5 is Regan MacNeil, played by Linda Blair in The Exorcist in 1973. William Friedkin was celebrated as an absolute pioneer of the horror genre when his 1973 adaptation of the book of the same name hit the silver screens. The reason Linda Blair had to be added to this list is the fact that her rendition of the demon-infested child, that performance that had people running out of the movie theaters and passing out in fear, that performance that has had the film named the scariest movie of all time and was executed by an actor of only 14, carving her place in horror history forever. Number 4 is Lee Holloway, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Secretary in 2002. Maggie Gyllenhaal gives her most impressive and extraordinary performance to date in this critically acclaimed 2002 smash hit Secretary. Gyllenhaal carefully and faithfully explores the lines of mental health through her character, Lee Holloway, as she embarks on a sadomasochist relationship with her boss, Mr. Gray. Number 3 is Erin Brockovich, played by Julia Roberts in the film Erin Brockovich in 2000. The true story of an unemployed single mother bringing down a Californian Poner company is beautifully portrayed by Roberts in this unforgettable underdog tale. Brockovich is so instantly relatable for anyone who has felt trapped or helpless in their lives. A truly uplifting feel-good story for which Roberts received a female record-breaking 20 million fee for. At number 2 is Chihiro from Spirited Away in 2001. Miyazaki's animated masterpiece sees a young girl being stripped of her parental guidance and protection and thrown into a world completely unlike her own, one which is inhabited by spirits and strange creatures and ruled by an evil bathhouse witch named Yubaba. What is most striking about the Chihiro character is the journey she goes through and how much she genuinely grows as a person throughout the movie. Miyazaki's narrative has been woven with such skill and masterful craft that the viewer is oblivious to the personal growth of the character right until the flashback scene at the end where it dawns on you like the warmth of the Japanese sun. At number 1 is Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver in the movie Alien in 1979. Ridley Scott's Alien was released slap bang in the middle of the female empowerment movement of the late 20th century, and Weaver's portrayal of the alien fighting, space exploring protagonist Ripley has long been described as symbolic of the social gender power shift within the culture of the time. The infamous image of Weaver surrounded by giant eggs is unapologetically representative and boldly celebrated of the growing power of females at the time. That concludes our list of wonderful femme fatales. If you enjoyed, click subscribe and don't hesitate to join us again for another